DeathsTalker here. So how you like the new ride? Alright, don't stop the video, don't unsub. I haven't sold the RC51. What I'm actually doing is I'm riding my wife's motorcycle. It's a 2008 Honda Shadow Aero 750. And the reason I'm riding it is we're taking it off to the dealership to get some new tires on it. The tires are actually 10 years old, and even though she hasn't got a lot of kilometers on the bike, I don't think we should be riding, having her ride with the equivalent of hockey pucks. So we're going to get some nice new tires, get oil change, and whatever service the bike needs to get done. Now, I know for a fact I can do it, but I don't actually have a lift that can pick up the back end of her bike, because it's a shaft drive. You know, the shaft on one side and swing arm on the other. It's be like a special type of lift to do, and I don't really service this bike very often because it doesn't get driven very much, so I can really be bothered. I can do oil changes and, you know, general services, but for tires I just take it to the dealership. But she's had this bike for a bunch of years. It doesn't have a lot of miles because she was working, but now she's actually retired too, so she can ride it more this year. But it's actually a nice little bike, and for the majority of the roads that we have in this area, it's pretty good. And for her, it's not too fast. She does not like you know, driving around tight corners and twisty roads and all that sort of stuff, so that's one of the reasons why you tend to see me by myself. But if we're going someplace like I know we went to a few places together, and they were in the videos. You might have noticed the bike parked beside the RC51 and some of the cameras footage, but you know, it's what she liked. So that's what we got. It does ride like a couch with wheels on it to me, and it's I'm actually using a lot of back brake to get this thing to slow down. It's only got a single disc, and you know, not high performance brake pads, you know, because it's a cruiser, not a sport bike. The weirdest part is getting my feet at the front, because I used to put my feet behind sort of behind my butt, and this thing here, I got to put my feet way out in the front. Almost, it feels like I'm going to put my feet out towards the front axles, but so anyways, that's about all I got to talk about it right now. I know a lot of people have driven cruisers, so they know what they're like. It also doesn't help that this is a street bike shift, and of course I have my RC set up like a race bike shift, so the first couple shifts I'm like trying not to screw up, and it was pretty wobbly at first because I'm steering on kind of loose. And there we are. Oh. There you can see a 2008 Honda 750 Shadow Aero. Very sparkly. She says she picked the color because she'd got a helmet the year before that was the same color. So okay, so there we go. Took a couple hours. Got the tires changed, oil change done. Definitely better tires than what we had on the bike. I think they're actually Bridgestones. Not exactly performance tires, but they are for cruisers, so. Position. There we go. Now I can see. Well, the bike had its oil change and it's got brand new rubber on here, and I immediately noticed a significant improvement in braking. On the way out, I found myself really leaning on the front and heavily on the rear brake to get this cruiser thing to actually come to a stop. I realize they're a little bit heavier than some sport bikes, and they don't carry the same sort of brakes that my RC51 has. But I noticed that driving back home so far, I'm only using about maybe a little over half the braking force I was required to do on the way out. So I think it definitely part of the lack of brakes had to do with the rubber. So let that be a lesson to yourself. Don't be running around on a motorcycle with 10-year-old tires, even though they have a lot of tread. They don't work. Of course, the only downside of riding this thing is it's probably the first time I get back on my bike. After riding this thing, I'm going to look like a total spaz for the first couple kilometers when I try to put my legs where the shifters are after having to move them back to from where they were in this thing. And the clutch point on this bike is just so far out there. It's not a bad bike. It's not my thing, but you know what? I think pretty well for a first bike. You know, cruisers are actually not a bad bike. Even though I've never actually owned one. I have ridden a few, but anyways, DeathsStalker signing off.